Oh, shucks. We're live. I'm like, oh, shucks, we're live. We just did that. All right. Good morning. Good morning. You literally called me out there just freestyling. All right, it's too early for us to be having this much fun. So good morning and welcome to your Business and Digital team. How are you doing this Monday morning? Happy April 1st. It is April 1st. Shout out to my homegirl Annalisa. Happy birthday. I know you hate this, but happy birthday. Because I could do it. All
Happy
right.
birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy new quarter. Happy new goals. Happy
Yeah.
spring.
Happy spring. Happy spring. All
Happy
right.
April.
Yeah, right. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So let's kick to the intro, guys. I don't know. I think we still have to fix that. Something in the intro happened, and so we got to get to that. All right. So good morning, and welcome to your Business and Digital. I am Tamara Molui. I am super excited to be here. I love this show so much. This is where we really connect the dots for you as a small business owner or as a business executive who really wants to understand how can you leverage digital to grow your business. So we talk about that here. We bring together all the parts of a business, right? All the key elements. We have finance with Andrea Ragu talking to us about how to really leverage finance and digital to make sure that you see the growth. We have Michelle Gordon, the pricing and sales strategist, who is here, who is really leading us forward with thinking about sales and connecting the dots with marketing. And of course, we have Michael Wilshire, who talks about operations and how this flows through everything that we really need to do to make sure that you actually get the stuff done right, so that we can connect the dots to money in the bank. And I talk about digital marketing and digital marketing strategies. I want you to grow your revenue through digital marketing. So let me tell you where you can connect with us. Connect with us on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on Facebook. We're also live on Instagram now. Super excited about that. So for everyone that's watching us on all those platforms live, good morning. Thank you for joining us live. If you can't connect with us live, that's fine. Just connect with us on the replays. And if you like podcasts, we are everywhere podcasts are found. We upload this to the podcast to Spotify. It pushes out to Apple, Amazon, all the places that you can find a podcast. We are there. So definitely tell a business owner about this show. Tell a business executive about the show. We help you connect back to money in the bank. And what we do is we bring together all the key players to help get that done. So, all right. That's the intro, guys. I mixed it up a little bit. Rhythm. All right. So what are we talking about today? Recap of last show. Let's just bring the team back together. Last show, we got feedback. And shout out to Deborah Mitchell for, really, really, truly being a Emmy-nominated TV producer. She gave us feedback and said, hey, guys, great concept, too much. You said everything, you were doing everything. We talked about the sales funnel. Now, while we understand it's important, it wasn't a new topic for us. It was a new strategy, how we were talking about it. So I think we all got really excited and we leaned in too much and we said too many things. So today we're going to take an opportunity to take a step back and really ease our way into the sales funnel and set it up in a way that it's like, a 5-part series. So you start really seeing the funnel as a part of your day-to-day activities, thinking about it. And we're not going to just, love bomb you with information overload. We're coming from a good place, I swear.
We're content rich. We're so rich with the content. Share it all.
What did you think? I mean, wasn't it good to get that type of feedback though, where we could adjust, right?
It was. It was, and she's part of our family. She's part of our YBID family, and it's good to see it from a different perspective as we peel back the layers. And we do get really excited about what we deliver here, and sometimes we're overly ambitious. So we're just going to pull it back just a little bit, to make sure that we deliver it in a way that you can pull the thread a little bit more and just sit in on it for a moment. We're good. Thank you, Deborah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, I'm still a little bit. So moving on. So we're moving on to our hot topic segment. It's a hot topic for us. Nia and I were going back and forth on hot topics, and I was going back and forth. She pulled together something that was great, and I was just like, I don't know. And I've been kind of living this experience. I was just like, you know what, let's do this as our hot topics. It's my 50-day to 50, a transformation worth its weight in gold. Still very hard to say it. I still haven't, it doesn't flow off of my tongue. So that tells me something as well too, right? It's like you learn and you're like, try to make the name easier, tighter. But it's too late to change the name now. Too late to rebrand, right? Anyway, so I wanted to kind of give you guys an update on where things are, right? So as we've been doing this, so I'm going to be 50 on April 15th, tax day, remember it. So I decided to, instead of, usually I do something, go away, I wanted to do something different and really run a campaign that, 50 days to 50. So we planned it, we pulled it together, and the team is leading and running with it. So the goal was to increase visibility in Orlando, to increase real estate in search engines by 10%, to drive signups for workshop through our webinar, and to increase speaking engagements. I think there were a few other things in there, but this is what we're going to focus on today. So quickly, we're going to run through this. All right, so here's where we are. So as far as growing visibility in Orlando, I've been doing a lot of networking with the East Orlando Chamber of Commerce. I have some speaking engagements coming up with them in May. Central Florida Urban League, I actually am speaking to a group of entrepreneurs on the 10th of April and on the 27th of April. Cremnona, this is a networking group where I live. I am going to be speaking to some business owners on the 9th about preparing your business for AI. I'm doing a webinar series. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So growing visibility in Orlando, I'm seeing the reach. We're seeing more people from Orlando following us on LinkedIn. I'm connecting with more people. I have been invited to be on a podcast with one of the East Orlando Chamber members. So I'm really seeing that expansion in the Orlando area, getting more people to know about me. And the Central Florida Urban League, speaking at that engagement, will really get me to be, again, in front of more entrepreneurs outside of my network. So it's really been a conscious effort to do that. So we're starting to see that growth. On to the next slide. This was one of those personal achievements. It's crazy. So on the 30th, I completed a 30-day yoga and Pilates challenge. It was just 30 days nonstop. And I did not have a plan. And I was just like, and I just went the next day and I went the next day. So I'm just rolling it into 60 days. If 30 days did the things that it did, what would 60 days do? And why not push the envelope? You know what I mean? I'm going to be 50. How often do you get to push the envelope? And what I've come to understand from this is that discipline is important to me, and it really pushes me to be more productive. So this is the discipline that I want to maintain, and just see what happens in 60 days. So on to the next slide. So one of the big things for us was, again, we really wanted to connect the dots for business. We want to do this as a show and tell, right? We're showing you how we help our customers get to rank for keywords, all that good stuff. So we're up 86 points from the keyword digital marketing solutions, which has a reach of about 480 searches on a monthly basis. So we are up to number 14. We've increased visibility in search by 1.87%. Our goal is 10%. So we're actually able to track to see where we are. So this here, hopefully it's not too small, but it tells you that custom digital marketing solutions, we're ranking number 6. We are now officially on page 1 for custom digital marketing solutions. For digital marketing solutions, we're number 14, up 86. And we're continuing to grow with the consulting terms. We're down a little bit, but one of the things I understand now with this is that you can create really great content. You do need to feed it, but maybe not as much as I thought. If you're creating great foundational content and doing all the right things around the technical pieces of the SEO. So really start to see some growth here. Next slide. This shows you that positive impact where we're up plus 1.87% in search real estate on Google. So we're really seeing that positive impact and how we are, we're going to measure this with traffic to our website, right? And then we're going to measure how long they spend on our website. Is the content the right content? So we're going to keep growing this. Once we start getting that 10%, we know we will see more traffic coming, more people filling out our forms, and we've already created the infrastructure to support the people coming to our website. And these are going to be people that don't know us. They are looking for our service. They don't necessarily know the brand Monovan Digital yet, but when they run into it, it's going to be great. All right, next. Negative impact. Oh, boo. So we've lost a little bit of speed here with the digital marketing consultant. And so I have to look to see, okay, how do we pick up some steam here, and then go back and look at things. It just might be some content refresh. It may be looking to see, is this the right word for us? So there's some adjustment that needs to happen here. All right, moving on along. So we've also started our Preparing Your Business for AI webinar. It's live every Tuesday. We're really talking about AI and digital marketing. And so the goal of this webinar is to drive people to our workshop. So we're starting to promote it. We're getting flyers printed. Yes, we're doing some printed stuff because again, I'm out in the networking in the neighborhood, so I can start sharing this. There's a QR code on it, not on this, but there's a QR code so people will be able to register. So we've actually done, this Tuesday will be our 3rd round, and I will start talking about this more and more and more. So it's going to be a great way to draw people in to then really push them to our workshop and to build our email database. So this started every Tuesday live, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to know more, definitely hit us up. On to the next slide. The next thing we're doing is talking a little bit about Azalea Health Services. So we're running the PCOS study. Dr. Siobhan Joseph worked on a PCOS study, Azalea Health Services, and she really looked to understand what was happening with polycystic ovary syndrome in the Caribbean. The study is phenomenal. So we started running ads for this study, and we used a quiz, right? So as a part of the strategy, the ads drive to a quiz to book a consultation. As a part of that, what we've been able to do is, again, drive up to 922 leads, which means that we've collected these email addresses of people that are signed up. So we know how many people have viewed it. We see how many people started it. We see how many completions we have, and then how many people actually gave their email addresses. So we're looking at a complete conversion rate of about 57.4%, which is like unreal. We are working through some other things, right? We have to get to a place where we've had a little bit of friction, in the booking process. So we need to get to a point where we now can move these people over who want to book to get them to a place of booking. So we're really working on a better nurture sequence. So we're taking the data, optimizing, and this is kind of where we are now. All right, moving on along. I'm like conscious of time. So it's, high-level conversation kind of tells you how the people break down. So this is a great tool that we utilize, which is called Try Interact. We love this tool. Go ahead. I think that's it. That's it. So that's the campaign. That's where we are. That's the update. All right, guys. I know that was a lot. What do you?
That was a lot for 30 days that you've done so far. Let's start with what you are practicing, what you preach, and what we speak of here. And everything that we spoke of before, you defined exactly what it was and actually put, a stake in the ground on what that meant and how long you were going to dedicate to it. So a measuring component of it, what you were targeting and the personas against it. omni-channel presence, both online and offline. You had a strategy against it, and the diversification of it, I think, is profound as well. So you're staying within your niche, but you're moving it within different areas, both locally. You have a mini local but national presence with the National Urban League, but the local chapter of it. It is somewhat defined because when we're speaking of this, it is the Urban League specific, in that audience, but it is a business with small business owners that are involved in that as well. Something personal. So we're learning more about you, that like trust factor. It's just part of that sales journey is going through. But then you're saying come and learn more with the webinar. You're defining a bit more as you're speaking with Dr. Joseph. And hello there, Dr. Joseph. Welcome to the party again. We know that all of us have worked with you here, but profoundly something that you're going to find for a specific business, and then measuring and showing the results and refining as you're moving along and understanding what's working and what may need to be a bit fine-tuned to progress along the path to April 15th. So bravo, my dear. That is a lot. It's a mouthful, and it's taken a village to do it. And you have an army behind you that's well educated on what needs to happen, understanding how it needs to progress, and learning and growing along with you on this journey. So lots of great lessons in these days.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
just love that. I just love that, yeah, the completeness of the journey. You're including these different things. And as Michelle said, you're not forgetting the offline activities as well. That networking is very important. So just kind of closing the gap between people seeing you in a digital space and then kind of say, oh, hey, oh, you're real. Oh, I can connect with you. There's still space for that in our marketing world, where people need to probably still see someone physically to kind of close the gap for them in their mind that, oh, okay, maybe I want to work with this person. I love that part about it, that you're out there still to marry that and to bring it together. So yay.
Oh, I'm not going to say much, but I'm part of this, so I'm really glad to be part of it. And as the numbers show, we are optimizing. We're in that optimization stage where we're looking at those numbers and seeing, yes, you're not going to see all green. That's just the fact of it. It's not going to be all green. You're going to hate that it's not all green, but it doesn't mean that you can't get it to go green. As well, in the case of Azalea Health, again, that design of fits in well with what we're talking about today. That top of funnel, that top of funnel strategy and how well a quiz works, and when the quiz is implemented within certain parameters, understanding that target audience, it really delivers those leads. So great stuff, Tamara. Glad to be a part of it. More cheers all around.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. When you were looking, as a team, looking at the progress and the keyword terms that you went in for, was there anything beyond the one that reduced? Was there anything that popped up new that you weren't expecting, or something that, as you're looking at it, you said,
Yeah.
let me lean a bit more into this one?
Oh, great. Yeah, 100. That's a great question. So it's in Google Search Console, right? So Google Search Console is a free tool through Google that you connect. It used to be Webmaster Tools back in the day, but once you connect that to your website, it kind of tells you what words you're ranking for. So in Google Search Console, we started to see visibility and impressions for words like digital marketing company. So now we've taken those keywords from Google Search Console, and we're going to start rolling that into our, okay, we're seeing this much impressions. What do we need to do to get a click? So that's going to start to become a part of our SEO strategy. So it's this, while I said before it was the monster or the hamster wheel that you have to feed the stuff to, all right, it gives you back stuff too. So SEO gives you back information. It says, this is also some buckets here that you can delve into, and you can now take those and apply that to your strategy. So there's a lot of great knowledge there. And then it adds to the content that you create, right? Because we're always looking from keyword to content creation.
And one other thing I want to ask you, because we speak about this here, and you're putting yourself in some new spaces, and I think our community would really learn from bits and pieces of this. albeit, as you're doing your yoga piece, you're peopling, you're with people, you're meeting people, which tends to be a really difficult thing for a number of our community folks. Can you talk about something that has been key for you in that space, while it's been a comfortable space that you've been in, something new that you've learned or taken out of that, or one of the new relationships that help to people and then invite, say, okay, this is great and this is good for me. I want to move forward and continue down this space.
Yeah, definitely. So it's been the yoga space has been interesting because it's gotten us clients. I have people because now the yoga studio is also my client, right? So one of the things, as a part of this journey was to make sure that I was doing business with people that have done business with me, right? So so I'm building clients from there, but I'm also in this journey seeing different elements of the magic or the universe, I should say. I don't want to get like too woo woo woo, but it's the yoga instructor that I've been working with. We're talking, and later on we recognize that we have the same birthday, but she's like a year younger than me, and so she's been in the 30-day challenge and sometimes instructing the class. So you're meeting people who are similar to, I met this other young lady who was, had some similarities to me. She was 41. Her birthday was like 3 days before mine. So I started to see versions of myself in these people showing up. And so while you're doing this yoga, you're really looking within. So there's a lot of inward feeling and getting to the bottom of all the stuff while eating good, while doing all the things, right? So I'm also working with the nutritionist, all those things, right? I feel like this could be a whole show. So so there are those things that are happening that say to me, well, something is right here, something has lined up in the right way to allow me to be more productive in the business, to really see the flow of the business. So this is the thing that I need to maintain, because the business succeeds when I maintain those things, right? And then leaning into it and going with it, and just, so there's a lot of leaning into, there's a lot of release, but there's a lot of information coming in as well too. So it's been a journey that has I did not expect. Yeah, in certain, like I got, we would do the marketing things, but the emotional, the feeling things, and we're just like, oh wow, this is nuts.
So the ability for you to put out there, you'll be a bit vulnerable to share some has not
Yeah,
you personally, but
yeah,
also to bond and get people to trust you a bit more, want to speak to you a bit more, learn more about Monovan, and to work with you and share their experience a bit more, and understand and discover ways that you two may be able to work together as well as grow personally together.
100%.
That's what to pull that thread on, because people are fearful and don't want to share and don't want to, open up just a tad bit. And you're showing over this 50-day challenge to 50 that there's a lot that can be obtained by just a little bit of sharing, can yield and open up so many doors.
Oh, 50 days to 50. All right, so we're moving on along. It's like time check. But I appreciate it. I mean, this is, Michelle's right. We're running this campaign, and it's pushing us and pushing us in ways too. So we really appreciate the support that everyone has shown. I get a lot of DMs. I get people reaching out to me. So I'm glad that I'm doing this. It's a lot of fun. So all right, moving on to our segment today. So today we are talking. Today in the Go Beyond the Light segment, we're talking about that sales funnel. So, last week, watch the episode. It's nuts. Tell us it's nuts. It's fine. We get caught up sometimes. So we're simplifying, right? Again, shout out to Deborah for giving us, the information to really adjust the strategy. So the sales funnel is an important part of your business strategy. And we want to take an opportunity to walk you through the sales funnel from every side of the business, from the pricing, the finance, operations, and marketing. So we're going to start off by simply talking awareness. We're not even going to go through the other parts. The journey it starts off with brand awareness and really getting to that place of knowing the brand, right? Something like a show is something that gets you to know the brand. When you start off searching, that's where you're just running into them for the first time, right? It's like that, oh, who is this brand? All right. That's where the brand awareness is from the customer side. Moving on to the next slide. So when we think about brand awareness, right, from the marketing perspective, we understand exactly what I said. We're introducing the brand through some platforms or maybe a bunch of platforms. Maybe we're introducing the brand through social media ads, right? So we are, for the first time saying, hey, welcome, I am here, I am open for business. Here are my social media ads. Are you the target audience looking for X, Y, and Z? Are you looking for digital marketing services? Do you want to understand how to use AI to better your business? I'm saying those things to the target audience through social media ads, through Google ads. As they're searching, they're running into me. I'm educating them through SEO, right? This is how they're coming in. So this is my action for brand awareness. So every action when we're looking at KPIs, every action that you take, you really want to see your customer have a reaction to that, right? So these ads, or however I get them to my world, this is that first action. So now we'll talk a little bit about the customer's reaction. The customer's reaction is to click on the ad, is to click on the link. It's to come into my world from this space of, the competition. They're just scrolling through social media. They're coming in and they click on the ad and then they come into my space. So once they take that action, right, that customer reaction, and that's the reaction that I'm expecting too, right? When I put this thing forward, whatever it is I put forward, I'm expecting the customer reaction to be a click. If they don't click, I know I need to solve for something. But if they click, I say, okay, I've intrigued my target audience and they're coming in. So the next step is the metric. So the first thing I'm going to look at is to say, okay, how many people did it reach? This is how I'm going to measure brand awareness. So many times we hear people talk about brand awareness cannot be measured, right? It's brand awareness, but you must be able to measure it. So you want to measure it with some of these engagement metrics, right? How many people did the ad reach, right? What was the impression? How many impressions? Now, impressions it's not the be all and end all. It is a starter metric. It gives you a gauge, but you want to connect that to the number of people that clicked on the ad as well. Because those people that clicked on the ad may have a deeper awareness of the brand, right? They said, hey, something here intrigues me. I want to go a little bit further. I want to take this information and I want to click on this ad and get maybe to that landing page where I learn a little bit more. So you get to the layers of brand awareness, right? The first one is the number of people that the ad reached. So you can say, hey, this ad reached 100,000 people. But of these 100,000 people, 10% of them clicked over and clicked the ad. So you can now say, hey, these people are aware of the brand. The other thing you might want to consider is number of shares, comments, and saves. This tells you that people are interested in this and they want to share it. They want to be the referral because maybe their group of friends have been talking about this for a while. Maybe they're business owners that are saying, hey, I'm looking for digital marketing services. I really like this ad, or I want to learn a little bit more about AI. I'm running this AI ad, and let me share this with my network. Let me make a comment because, maybe I want to know a little bit more. Let me save this because I want to come back to it later on. So in marketing, we move from that place of the action that we take as the business to that customer reaction, to then that measurement, that KPI that says, here's how you measure this brand awareness in that customer journey. So Those are the first points there. So, guys, I don't know if you have any questions, if you want to highlight anything. I know we want to roll into the next point, but I want to make sure we're clear and not too convoluted.
I think that was absolutely clear and a simple breakdown, but I want to go back a little bit, right? So what are we considering? So the operations of it. So Nia, if you just go back to maybe second slide, let's see what we're talking about putting in this interaction. So at this point, when we're looking at that brand awareness, we should have done our buyer persona. We should have done, by this time, we would have done buyer persona, we would have done our target market, our ideal target market. Then here, when we reach to, we're introducing the brand, now we have to say, okay, what's the mix of content that we're going to put out? So yes, it might be ads, social media ads, Google ads. What do those ads look like? Where would we, so you've got to, bank in that time for creation of those ads. Do you need to do it internally or externally? Go to your next slide here. So then, of course, metrics, right? So make sure that your tracking is set up. And when the customer does take the action, where are they going to go? So they've took the action. I'm not going to go into the next stage yet, but now that we're saying that you've put up an ad, you've put up posts, you want to see these actions, but where does it lead? So again, you're always keeping that customer journey in mind at this point. So this is it encapsulated, but those are the operational steps you want to consider.
Yeah, really, really great points to kind of get people to connect those dots, right? So, all right, we're moving on along.
All right, so the next place that we're going to, and we're actually partnering together on the marketing side because they go hand in hand with many things that we're doing, but we're covering the same areas on the sales side in brand awareness, starting, again, what I consider the call and the response component of what we're doing here in each place. What our action needs to be, what's our call to the client, our purpose here in order to get that next action or reaction, as T said, in order for us to move the buying journey along progressively through the sales journey. And here we want to think of the no factor. We need to build that awareness, get people to understand who we are based upon the persona that we have taken the time to develop for our target audience. And that content that we're going to put out there is going to resonate because we're speaking to those triggers that we've identified within that persona. At that same time, what we're trying to push forward in the long run, with the takeaway that we want them to understand and to move that no factor onto the like component, is to expose to our community that we're trying to attract our brand values, our solutions that we have to offer to relieve them of their pain, the connective tissue that we have that aligns with their core beliefs in a way that we're delivering it with the marketing component that Tamara was talking about in the Google ads and the verbiage that we're putting on our website or in any of our social spaces in a concise way, efficient way that's going to resonate with what they need at the time and at the point of entry that they are at. Now, what we're looking for from them in actions, Nia, if you don't mind moving on to the next slide, is we want them to lean into the videos as we are providing that information to our community. Read blogs where we're speaking of what we are about. We want to have them subscribe to our articles, to our podcasts, to our vlogs. We want them to click on that call to action to visit specific pages of our website that we're speaking to, and we want them to engage. And when I say engage, that means comment. That means share with someone. It means tag somebody in something. It means to come back in to like something. So those are key things that we want, and they're triggers, reasons why we want those things to happen is when someone comments, it invites you and gives you the opportunity to also engage back with them and make this a bit more personal. We want them to subscribe and read an email that comes to them, because remember, this is an offline and an online action that we have from them. So in our call and our response, we want a couple of things from them. So we are, remember, high in the funnel and very high at the very beginning of the sales journey. So we're at the very part of this, of the awareness. So hold on, because there are a number of other things that we're going to go into, but we're at the awareness to get to know me. We're very early in the dating stage of things. Now, what we're talking about, and Nia, go into the next part, when we say data, dating data, we're gaining information from each other. And in this is a trading of information. So for us, what we're looking for in the dating, that data component is things that tell us, are we going in the right area, or do we need to change our talk track and our communication model? That's what we're looking for, the number of blogs and video clicks that we're getting. How many subscribers are we receiving as we're putting out this content? Is our website traffic increasing? So our marketing team is going to help us with some of these components and understanding the metrics. Is our engagement rate improving in the areas that we've placed ourselves out there in the awareness? So is our engagement rate improving in the number of comments that we're getting, the number of likes, the number of shares, the number of tags that we're getting? Are those components moving along, or has anything stalled? And if so, take a look at the words that we're putting out there. Which keywords? Tamara showed this earlier as we're talking about her journey to April 15th for her 50th. How many of those are moving forward? And is there anything that we need to fine tune or escalate because something's working really well? Do we need to lean further into it, or do we need to take things? So are we saying the right things to our community at the right time in the places that they are residing? All right, team.
And again, so operationally, just as we spoke about in the 50 to 50 campaign, this is where you're going to be constantly optimizing. So we're putting up these measurements. We're saying, this is what we're going to track as far as, is it working? Is it working well to drive sales? And this is where we'd say if the numbers are not looking like what we want it to look, then we have to go back and optimize those blogs. We have to change something with the ad. We have to change our tone maybe with social media, maybe look at the keywords. So this is that type of ongoing work you're going to be doing, optimizing, changing as it goes along. Because again, once we put it out there into the wild, it's going to take on a life of its own a bit, and you're going to see that data telling you where to go next. So operations is just constantly involved in terms of making sure that, one, the content is out there at the right time, as Michelle said, the right time to the right people, and that you're looking at that feedback. Is it getting the engagement that you wanted? In terms of engagement, meaning it's helping to move them to the next stage of the funnel. And then you can now decide, well, okay, what content where do I go next? What ad do I go to next, etc. So constant operational game there.
Right. The one thing I want to add to this, and where both operations and marketing, and then I'll come back for Andrea on the finance side, where parts of this are key, and some of the homework that we're doing in advance, these words that we're putting out there, that engagement that we're putting out there, isn't just something that's coming out of my brain that I'm just pulling from the sky. It's because we've done the homework to understand, based upon the target audience that we're seeking, here are the things that they're asking for. So as we said in a couple of shows previously, so here's my little bit to go back and watch the previous shows. We speak to having content based enriched with the keyword terms that our client base is searching for, that they're asking and searching for in Google and other spaces. So we're weaving those words throughout the verbiage that we're putting out there. What's coming out of our mouth in our videos, what we're putting in our vlogs and in our email content, it's rich with that type of content. And what we're looking for on the back end is as we're studying, just as Tamara showed on the hot topic today, is what worked and do we need to fine tune that a little bit? And it's try and try and try, not trial and error, try and try again, fine tune again, add to it again. And then based upon that, we're able to also tag back to it and say, what money did we spend, or what money is it moving along in the right place, and are we checking the boxes in the right manner, so that we know that full circle for all four of us that we're doing things right. And then Michael has his piece too, because in those keyword terms, some of this is automation that we're doing. There's email automation, a response back as they're clicking on, things that we're looking for to make things a little bit easier for us, the tasks and the job responsibility behind it. It isn't just a human manual thing that's happening. There's some automation behind components of what we're doing as well.
Love that. Such a good, so I love that we've simplified this. So, and now we got to layer on the other piece, right?
All right, we got to lay on the money. We got to talk about where does finance fit into this game here. So marketing put the message out there. Sales started to build the relationship with the customer, because sales is the one that is saying, as Michelle said, the call and response and paying attention to what's happening. But while all these things are happening, finance has to be somewhere in there, right? So in terms of finance, the action is you're creating, I don't think that's my action. I think the action is to put the marketing out there, to put out the ads, right? That's because it's mass advertising at this point, because we're looking for brand awareness. So you're putting a lot of mass advertising, mass content out there, because you're just trying to get awareness. And what happens after? Well, the customer becomes aware of the brand. That's the call and response that Michelle spoke about. So you put something out there, the customer becomes aware of the brand. After the customer becomes aware of the brand, as a finance person, why should you even be concerned about this stage? So here's where the money is coming in. If you're a CFO, here's what you want to understand. At this stage in the funnel, there isn't much money coming in. There isn't much money coming in right now. There's a lot of money going out, right? Typically in finance, you always want to talk about the money, the revenue. That's usually that's usually a KPI that you want to be looking at. But you have to have that strategic eye to understand where is the business in the part of this funnel. So one thing that I want to understand, for me as a CFO, I want to understand, well, out of the marketing budget, out of this entire activity, how much of my money is being spent on advertising? I would want to understand that, because that says to me how much of the business is in this stage of the funnel, is in the awareness stage of the funnel. That's critical to understand, because if you look at your business as a whole, 100%, if 80% of the business is in awareness stage, that says to you that only 20% is bringing in revenue, or at least only 20% is further down the funnel. And remember, as we go through this series and we go through the funnel, only when we start doing the conversion is where the money starts coming in. So if I am still in the awareness phase, I want to understand, well, what's the ratio of money that's being spent on advertising, for me to get a strategic sense and an overview of where we are. The other thing now, for me to understand if things are heading in the right direction, if you notice, these are the same metrics that we spoke about before. I'm going to have to get in tune with metrics, non-traditional metrics, meaning not necessarily the finance metrics, not necessarily cost metrics. I want to understand, well, how is marketing and how is sales judging their activity? If they are saying that the activity is making sense, then it means we're going to move down the funnel and we're going to eventually have successful conversion. So I'm going to want to cue into website performance. Now, and what I am looking for is the performance, are they saying that there are more clicks? Are we getting people to visit the site? Are they saying that we're in April now versus January? We launched a campaign. Did my set get more views from January to now? Because that says that more people, that says that the advertising is working because more people are coming to the website. Remember, I can't talk about sales yet. We're not there yet. We're in the awareness. So I have to be patient and understand that, okay, the performance of the website says people are getting the message. I also want to look at the social media metrics again to understand, is the ad spend, if it is we were spending money, this mass advertising that we're doing, is the ad spend making sense? Are people clicking? So did we have things like organic growth in our social media metrics? And this is where, yes, as a CFO, you need to have an appreciation of this, because then this says that the money is being effective. You want to ask questions like, well, did we buy our followers or did we grow organically? This is where you want to understand that they're making sense. So you want to have that understanding of social media metrics. Again, not because you're in marketing, but just because it explains to you that the activity that you're doing is making sense, because your measurement of revenue, which is what you're accustomed to as a CFO, you're not ready. We're not ready for that measurement yet. We're getting to that measurement later on. But right now, where you should be concerned about is the money that I am spending, is it working? That's what you're concerned about, right? Because at this stage in the game, not much is coming in because we're still in the awareness phase. So you want to understand how much money is going out there and how is it being spent? Is it working effectively? Questions?
I've got a comment to add to what you're saying, and not just where money is being spent that I think gets lost somewhere in translation. The dollars that is being spent to advertising is really important, and there needs to be you're the balance on and the check on those. But I invite everybody to also understand that money is being spent in the time that you're investing to create that, to do those videos, to do that podcast, to get those emails out there. And it's important to add that cost to everything as well, because there's a value to your time. And many people that I work with, I invite them to include that and to consider that. And I'd say more often than not, 7, 8 out of 10 are forgetting to add that to that cost. And it's important, you're right, Andrea, and that what's the stage progression? How quickly do we get through there? Part of the measurement is how many people are actually indeed not just visiting the site, but adding to cart. That's an indication of an escalation of the buying stage, the buying time. And how many of those people are clicking on the FAQs and moving from awareness to somewhere lower in the stage much faster than we anticipated, and what was the driver there to help to get more of that money in the bank and that conversion faster. So it's important for all of us, especially from a sales perspective, to understand how do we escalate that sales process.
Absolutely.
See, I'm not just your friend of me. I am your partner.
I love that.
Time is a big factor.
Yeah.
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 Just, time is a big factor in going through the funnel. You just need to understand how long you're going to take, because the longer you take to go to the funnel is the longer it's going to take for you to get that money coming back in. And that's the important part you're getting to.
I've always loved this conversation. Thanks, Rhonda. Rhonda's like, yep, let's talk about finance. And talking about finance and digital is so important because you have to relearn new metrics. And this digital, the CFO should love digital because of the amount of data points that you get. It's the first time marketing actually kind of makes sense, right? So there are these data points that they need to adjust to. And if they saw that path, they'd be like, okay, cool, we're at this path. And to go back to the Azalea piece, as a CFO, getting 922 email addresses is a path to saying, hey, now we need to nurture these people to conversion, right? And how do we do that? How do we get the first 10% of them to convert? What percentage will convert? And then that becomes something that a CFO can kind of hold on to. So I think it's really important for your CFO to have a foundation for digital and the analytics and the metrics. I don't know, maybe sounds like another webinar. I'm just saying.
And Andrea touched on a great point as far as, the percentage of time that we're looking at percentage of business that's in that stage of the funnel. And it's the same for your operations, right? How much of your work is just around brand awareness? How much of your work and what we're putting out is around brand awareness? Is it proportional? So Azalea has a really good example for what we put in to create the quiz. How many work hours was it to get 900 plus leads, right? So you don't want to spend a disproportionate amount of time in development only to get a poor conversion rate. So all things that have to be considered when looking at it holistically, all the silos that it touches, we want to make sure that at each stage of the funnel, how much work effort is going into maintaining and driving your prospects through that funnel.
One of the things that I want to make sure that we talk about here, while we are today focused on the brand awareness component, remember, everybody's not at the brand awareness component. Your clients, your prospects are in varying stages of the funnel. And that's what you want to have. You want to have a full funnel at every stage of your cycle, not just full at the top and skinny down. You want it to be, kind of jam-packed towards the bottom too, because that means you're doing something right. You're pushing people through and you're attracting the right people. And there's a steady stage of people that are running through the entire part of this of the sales funnel. And what's really important, I believe, as things that we've talked about here in the brand awareness part, notice that in every part of this, for all of us, we've had some similar things that we were speaking to as far as what our actions were, with the reaction that we were looking for from the client, and what that metric was that we were looking for. Our lens was a bit different, but some of the things really had a lot of great crossover. And what one of the takeaways I want our community to have, not just from a sales perspective, but from a full circle perspective, is the importance of us bringing every department into our world and educating each other and understanding, because one, that removes friction from there. You remove the notion of get out of my sandbox. This is my area, and why are you leaning in here? What you're allowing everyone to do is to learn and grow and rise to the occasion together, because we're understanding. And what's the great part about this is that someone else is going to see something that we've missed, and they're going to add to that conversation and notice something from a different way that will help us to fine tune what we're doing to move that conversion across a lot faster, at a faster clip, and hopefully at a higher average sales price, if we're converting and speaking to each other and all speaking the same language, or riding in the same car, if we want to go back to the car analogy. I'm sure somebody can bring a food analogy in too if we talk a little bit more about it. But I love this, because we're not in the get out of my way stage. It's come on in, and what do you have to say, and what do you see? And let's fine tune and celebrate our wins as we're moving things along to the next stage.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Oh, this was better. This was a nice digestible bite of growth. Even I feel less anxious. Last week I was like, we said too much. But no, this was perfect to really start. So, but I love what you said there, Michelle, about the making sure that there are different parts of the funnel. So I want to really run us. I want to make sure we all kind of get our final thoughts in. So I'm going to kick it over to Andrea. Get your final thoughts, Michelle, Mike, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. So my final thoughts, what I want people to take away is the purpose of the CFO in these conversations. It may sound a bit unusual to say that the CFO should be part of a brand awareness conversation, but the CFO has the strategic eye. The CFO has access to information that the different silos may not have access to. Being a CFO, you are responsible for the entire business. So having the CFO as part of the brand awareness gives you that strategic eye in terms of, okay, how does your decision impact what I already know? And can we sustain that decision that you're going to talk about? So just for example, if in the brand awareness stage, marketing is saying, I think we need to extend this campaign a bit longer, we're not getting the feedback, or we might need to do something else to keep people in the brand awareness stage. And CFO might be able to say, well, hang on, I'm not sure if we could run this for much longer, given what is happening in the other stages, in the other areas of the business. So you want to have the CFO as part of that conversation to help make the brand awareness part of the funnel as efficient and as effective as possible. Because remember, again, we come back to at this stage, it's just money going out. There's very little coming in. And as Michelle said, you want the funnel to move as quickly as possible. But at the same time, you have to be able to finance that. And to all these, CFOs start to become aware of these digital marketing metrics. They're a lot different to what we're accustomed to, traditional metrics, but it's important to have an understanding of what these metrics are, because they do give us valuable pieces of information as to how money is being spent. And in keeping it in this part of the funnel, the brand awareness phase, that's what you want. You want to make sure that, yes, you have to spend the money, but you want to make sure that it's being spent in an efficient and effective way.
To add to what Andrea is saying, for my sales and pricing brethren that are out here in our community listening, this is a time that I need you to make sure that you've taken your vitamins, that you're resting well, that you're eating and you're nourished, because a lot of heavy lifting is coming from your end at this stage of this. Michael spoke to a number of things that have to happen on the front end as you're working with marketing on the target audience. That persona needs to be identified. What we're trying to market and sell needs to be communicated and vetted out. What we want the end result to be at the end, in not just sales, but people, our target audience, the words that are being stated in every facet of this comes from you and your input on what needs to happen, because sales can't happen. The marketing can't happen. What the output needs to be from Michael and helping from an operational component of it can't happen without you giving great detail and educating in each component of this, and understanding what that price point needs to be, what that call to action needs to be. All of that comes with your partnership with everybody that's on this screen. So it's really important that you lean into this, that you step forward, that you're not quiet, that you're participating in the effort and saying, but this is what our clients want. Here's the way I think it needs to happen. Here's what the call to action needs to be and the way it needs to be said, and giving a very strong visual of what that persona and that target audience looks like, so that everybody understands what the goal is through every stage of this. So your hands need to be very tight and with sleeves rolled up and elbows, shoulders deep in this, because your time is early on and through everything, but especially early on the sales part as well as the pricing, because your finance person is looking for some money later on. And we need to understand what will convert and why it will convert in a specific way. So your team needs you early and often in this. That's my 2 cents from a sales and pricing perspective.
Definitely from the last perspective, operational perspective, you want to have that clear checklist of all the things that you're going to be doing and creating at each stage of the funnel. And we're just getting started, this brand awareness stage. So we're saying that, you can start from that clear map of what the ideal buyer persona looks like and what those customer journeys look like. And everything goes from there, so that you can say, yes, marketing has defined this is what we're using. So this is what we need to create or have created. In a lot of cases, you're going out to somebody to have it created. So you understand, well, time, we're always talking about it. How long will it take to do it? And of course, these are ongoing activities depending on the time of year, because your ideal client or your ideal customer may be doing different things. So even though it's at brand awareness stage, it may need to be put forward differently depending on that time of year. So great topic. I am glad as well that we broke it down. It feels much more comfortable to let everyone know this is how it works within the 4 silos. Give us your feedback, drop us some comments, send us some DMs. Let us know what you thought.
Love that. Thank you so much. This was, yeah, great conversation. Yeah, I think it's just really about breaking down the silos. If you're a business owner, if you're a business executive and you are thinking about the marketing, bring the folks in, bring the sales folks in, bring the finance folks in, have a unified conversation. This allows for a holistic strategy that everyone is on board with, that there's a lot of buy-in. I've worked in corporate America. We've worked with clients where we've seen the rub with sales, finance, and operations and marketing, and there's a better way forward. So we implore you to, if you are a CFO who doesn't understand digital, reach out to us. Let's talk digital. Let's talk to Andrea, see how she's wrapping her mind around it, because there's help there for you, right? Sales and marketing is having beef, which happens entirely too much. Let's understand. It's about understanding the metrics and understanding what they need to do, right? What is the action that the other one's taking? And operations just needs to flow through this. Many times marketing has been caught up in how beautiful it is. We want to get to those data points and move away from how beautiful it is. So this is how we really work a true strategy to get us to that point of money in the bank where you have buy-in from your entire team. So thank you so much for doing this. This was just a brand awareness piece. So look out for the other pieces as we continue to move down the funnel. We're going to continue to move it into bite-sized bits. So let me tell you how you can connect with us. You can connect with us in a few different places. The next episode of this series will be next Monday. We're going to do this series every Monday to, let folks know. Thank you, Debbie. She's like, what's the next episode? I love that. She's such a producer. The next episode is going to be next Monday, and we're going to continue to move down that funnel, right? So, but we want you to definitely connect with us. Tell a business executive about this show. Tell a small business owner about this show. Connect with us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, where they're live Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't connect with us, definitely connect with us wherever podcasts are found. Watch the replay wherever podcasts are found, Amazon, Apple, all the places. You are so welcome, Rhonda. Thank you so much for joining us. We went to high school together. I love that. So, this has been a really great show. Thank you guys for, taking the feedback. Debbie, shout out to you again for really pushing us and pushing the envelope. We love that. We have partnerships that are really allowing us to grow and to see different sides of things and push the envelope. So thanks for the feedback. You are helping us to be better. And thank you again for joining us. Have an amazing, amazing Monday. It is April 1st. Happy April. Take care. We'll talk to you very soon. Bye.